Mr. Duvenage, is this a cause for celebration?
Absolutely, yes. I think what makes it more special is that Eskom, the SEO itself, the state-owned entity, is part of this move. And this is what we've been calling on for many state-owned entities, SAA, Denel, and others. It's very important because they've got the information about what went down. They've got the board minutes. They've got so much information that makes it easier for the executives of the new boards of these SOEs to go after those who've put these institutions in the state of disrepair that they're in. So this is extremely exciting and good news for South Africa. Let me
start then with the culprits who are within the country. What could be recovered from them?
Well, if it is proven in court that they were directly involved, in other words, their decisions were against the fiduciary duties of this organization, then they could be held personally liable, and that's what the SIU is going to try and do. And if that's the case, well, they've got a lot of assets in this country that they could very well be stripped of, because the costs and the losses that Eskom have succumbed to is directly as a result of their conduct and misbehavior. So there's a lot of money.
What are we talking, Mr. Duvenage? Is it money that the law enforcement is possibly going to go after, or are we talking immovable assets as well, houses?
Everything, because, they've got to, they might have to sell their assets in order to recover, especially if it can be proven that they have lived well beyond their means and that these assets have been purchased through the proceeds of this type of conduct.
And then the Guptas, all the way in Dubai, I think also sitting with them pretty there is Salim Essa, the Gupta associate. How in the world does South Africa get anything from them?
Well, you see, this is the start of that process. Now that formal charges and formal legal proceedings are starting to take place here, it gives the NPA and the Assets Forfeiture Unit and others the opportunity, but more so the NPA, to now start reaching out to the authorities in those countries to go and have them extradited, brought back to South Africa to face the charges that are coming their way. And this, again, is good news, because we have, as society and South Africans, been very interested in having them return to South Africa to face the music. And if that's the case, there are many international laws that will enable us to recoup and recover a lot of the funds. They've bought big properties overseas in India, Dubai. They've got jets, they've got helicopters. There are a lot of assets out there. You might not get all the money back, but what we're actually seeing now is people are being held accountable, and this is what's been missing all along. No one's been held accountable. And if we can bring them back to face the music and then start to recover some of that money, this is the beginning of good news for this country.
Putting a dampener on this news, though, Wayne Duvenage, is the lack of arrests and prosecution. Shamila Batoy and her team have been criticized for wanting to put together perfect cases. What is taking so long for them to go after these people?
Yeah, look, it is taking too long. I think, we've had discussions. We understand that these institutions have been hollowed out. Their expertise has been drained from those institutions. There are also people within the pushback cabal, the Zuma brigade people, we call them, inside those institutions that put up barriers as well and make it very difficult for those cases to become strengthened. And remember, recently the Estina dairy case had to be pulled, because what you don't want to do is go and put up a very weak case and then lose. You can't try people twice for the same thing. So that case was pulled for the right reason, so it's being strengthened. And we believe that in due course, soon, many of those individuals will be facing the long arm of the law and being brought to book.
Wayne Duvenage, thank you very much for your time, CEO of the organization Undoing Tax Abuses.